Welcome to the Raw Food Health Empowerment Podcast, where we delve into the powerful benefits of a holistic, high raw vegan lifestyle for achieving optimal health, brain function, and overall well-being. This podcast is not just about personal health. We are also passionate about community development and creating a culture of health through business and collaboration. Join us as we explore the intersection of raw food, holistic health, and community building to empower ourselves and others to live our very best lives. I'm your host, Samantha Salmon, certified integrative nutrition coach and brain health licensed trainer. And today I have a really special episode for you. Today I'm sharing how I started my own health coaching business. I was recently asked this, and I have some new developments that I'm excited to share. You probably saw the last video that I posted on the people that have been the most impactful on my journey in health coaching in particular, and specifically in achieving the mission I'm looking to achieve with my business. So you kind of have a little bit of an insight of what's been going on behind the scenes. Recently, I became a partner, an official partner of the Plant Protocol, and I'm so excited because for those of you who attended the Thrive Through Food Summit and got to hear my interview with Lisa Angel Smith, she is a firehouse. Her passion, her mission, everything is so much in alignment with mine, and what she's doing and who she is such a perfect partner for Raw Food Meal Planner, for myself, for what we're trying to achieve here on this corner of the internet and with this business, with Raw Food Meal Planner. So I'm so excited to be partnering with her. And just to give a little backstory, I'm an official partner of the Plant Protocol, which is her plant-based certification program. It is the first plant-based certification founded and run by a woman of color, specifically a Black woman. And I find that this is huge, right? It's super, super important. And I'm going to share why right now. There's this article I read recently, and I read stuff like this all the time, and it's like, where's the container to talk about this with folks who also care about this, right? I've struggled with this a lot, but now I'm so excited to be sharing more on it. So there's an article on Wink News, and I believe Wink is one of my local news stations that's like Florida based. So I'm going to make sure I post the link in the description wherever you're watching or listening to it so you can actually read this. But basically the title of the article by Wink is Obesity Spike Among Hispanic and Black Populations. This is not new information, right? This has been going on for quite some time. And just to summarize some of the points they mention, obesity and diabetes rates are rising at alarming rates among young people, especially among Hispanic and Black populations. I just so happen to have a good amount of clientele, actually. I was looking at my roster, if not half or more than half of the clients that I'm currently or have worked with in the past identify as Hispanic or Afro-Hispanic, or both, right? Or just Black, right? That's definitely the majority of my client base. So they're talking about the people I serve, about an issue that I specifically target on. I help folks reverse type 2 diabetes and release excess fat. When I went vegan for health reasons, right? I saw my grandma die from type 2 diabetes. I learned that a whole food vegan diet can reverse type 2 diabetes in 2 weeks and prevent it from happening. So I jumped on board myself, but when I went vegan, I gained weight, which is not the direction I'm looking to go in, right? I love food, I love to eat, I gained weight. Raw foods helped me lose the weight, get back to my normal weight, and maintain a healthy size. Even though I historically haven't been perfect, I wouldn't consider myself perfect. And in this environment that we're living in, even the idea of perfection with diet, it's like the only way you could really be perfect, 100% perfect, is to grow your own food and probably live definitely not in America. America makes it really hard to be 100% perfect. I don't believe in perfection. God just didn't do that, right? In the land of Babel, when people were working harmoniously, what he threw down chaos, right? So perfection is not a thing. Anyway, back to this article. If current trends continue, we could see a generation suffering early death from medical complications like heart attacks and strokes. I even literally just had a conversation earlier today with someone, because I'm actually recording this December 5th. It may not be when you're watching this, but Dr. Greger, one of my favorite people, just dropped his latest book, How Not to Age, and I have been dying to get my hands into this book, right? What I've heard him talk about so far is super intriguing, and I just couldn't wait to get into the book and start studying and picking up what he's picked up from putting this book together. And I was talking to someone, an older woman who identifies as Black and West Indian. I am of West Indian parents, and I was telling her, with all the longevity information we have out right now, we know what to do to get to age 120 and to thrive, right? But I don't think people in our community really want to get there, right? Just because we know how to do it doesn't mean that they actually want that. And there's a lot of reasons why this is the case. There's a lot of factors that play into what it means to live to 120, because your whole concept of retirement and what your life is going to look like in retirement and how you'll be able to afford that lifestyle, all of these things come into play. And so it's a little bit more complicated than just drinking a green juice and having a salad and whatnot, right? There's a lot more to think about. And she was like, you know what? The younger people are dying off more than the older folks, because the older folks ate vegetables, which is true. I mean, the way that I'm gonna focus in on my mom, because you've met my mom. She was on the podcast for years, and the way she grew up, plants were the majority of the plate of what they ate, just because that's how they lived. That's what they grew. Right? And eating meat was just a small percentage of what they were eating in total. And they were active, and they were outside, and all of these things, all the things we know now factor into longevity. That was just their lifestyle. Plus, they had an environment without plastics. All of these things, we've talked about them ad nauseum on the podcast, right? So even her, and I wouldn't consider this woman necessarily to be health conscious or leaning health forward or stuff like this, but she's just an everyday woman, and she noticed this, right? But I don't know that she's necessarily making the connections that, it is a lot harder now to be healthy. The environment just allowed for folks to be healthy back in the day. We're talking about the 50s, the 60s, in Jamaica, wherever else. It was just, the environment just allowed for that. It just was that. It was a healthier environment. Now you have all of these chemicals, these endocrine disruptors. Plastic is so pervasive, and all this marketing, this highly palatable food that have been engineered by scientists to keep people hooked, because it's a whole capitalistic mechanism, the whole thing, right? So folks are living in a really just like how we talk about everyone's in a war for everyone's attention, right? There's all these people fighting for attention. When it comes to the food industry, people are fighting for people's taste buds and palates. They want to sell their thing, right? And so there's just a lot more. It's just a trickier environment right now. So people have to be really intentional. Whereas back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, people didn't have to be so intentional to be healthy. And we saw what those folks look like. So anyway, back to this article. They mentioned eating processed and high sodium foods may taste good, but have negative health impacts. And recent studies show Hispanics have the highest obesity and diabetes rates, with 45 to 49% of the community affected. I mean, for those of you who are struggling with the math, that's 50% basic. That's almost half, right? Of the community, which is crazy, right? It shows the need. And what I've noticed in my coaching and in my work is that as I'm working with people, I want to introduce them to foods that are raw, cuisines that are raw, that aren't too far removed from what they're used to, right? Because to make a leap from a standard American diet or standard Caribbean, West Indian, Puerto Rican, Dominican diet, whatever, to a raw vegan diet or a high raw vegan diet, it's a huge leap, okay? But I want to help people get there as quickly as possible because we don't want to stay too long with the vegan cooked foods, especially when folks have a lot of weight to lose, right? We want to get to go quick so that we can release this excess fat as soon as possible. So, what I notice is that what the tools that are available, like for me as a coach, I'm like, where are the raw vegan Dominican and Puerto Rican dishes? Where are they? I can't find them. I can't find the recipes. So you know what I had to do? I had to create them. And I learned in that I had never had actually cooked Dominican and Puerto Rican dishes before. There was a lot of things that's new to me. Sofrito was new. There was some other dishes that I have and created in the holiday menu, like pasteles en hoja. I had never heard of it. I had never had, but I did some research. Let's take a look at this thing and see how we could do this raw vegan. Because once you understand raw vegan cuisine, what's possible, and so you can always make a standard dish healthier and cleaner, right? Moro I have in the Thanksgiving menu, moro with cauliflower rice and sprouted black beans. What else do we have here? Ensalada, which is a basic salad. Coquito, healthy, alcohol-free. We have a lot of stuff in here, right? A lot of stuff, and it's growing. I want it to be a community thing where folks, contribute to it because, it's okay. For me, I don't have a problem creating something I've never had the original version to because I've never had cheesecake ever in my life, but I've had raw vegan cheesecake. So I can't tell anybody what it tastes like in comparison, but I could tell you it tastes good. And to me, that's all that matters. If it tastes good, that's all that matters, right? I've never had actual cheesecake, but I know raw vegan cheesecake, right? We've made it in my store and I know what it tastes like. I've consumed it many times, but I've never had actual cheesecake. So for me, as long as I get a visual, I know what the idea is because I see how folks are making it in the usual, then I'm like, okay, I know how we could do this raw vegan. But what I want is for my clients who have the experience, they make a change to not just be the example in their family and their community, but to actually contribute to some recipes to the cuisine and make this thing, because I think that's where it's the raw food world may not seem as diverse as it actually is because we don't have these recipes and things really circulating or not enough of them. So it's just, we need to really show up. And that's why I'm so excited to be partnering with Lisa on the plant protocol. And that's why I kind of wanted to go into this episode with you on how I started my health coaching business. So when I started first, I had a raw vegan eatery. So we opened that business January 2011 and I got certified to coach 2015. So it was 4 years in that I decided to add this arm on to our offerings for the business and something that I would do myself, basically. And that's how I started, but I got certified first. And that's the main, that is the main thing I want to share is some people just wake up and they're like, oh, I want to call myself a coach. People don't even know what coaching is, okay? First of all, if you're trying to get clients, most people in the world, they don't know what coaching is. Coaching is a new thing. I mean, there's more coaches out here on the street calling themselves coaches, but that doesn't make them a coach because they call themselves a coach, honestly. Coaching is coaching and teaching is teaching. Mentorship is mentorship. There's a difference, right? You're not a doctor. You're not a therapist, even though I say it's like therapy because of some of the techniques that we use. But you have to know, and you're not a nutritionist. You have to know your scope of practice, which is why certification I highly recommend, so that you do not get yourself in trouble. That is the whole reason why I signed up to become certified, because I already knew nutrition. And I didn't think going into any program that anybody was going to tell me something I didn't know about nutrition. Although I did learn some things, like for folks with severe issues, autoimmune stuff, like how to help folks through that with elimination diet and things like that. I did learn a lot in terms of techniques and the different diets that are out there and stuff like that. But it didn't change my mind on the cleanest and healthiest way to eat. But the most important thing that I was looking to get out of my certification was learning the business model of coaching and how to protect myself legally, right? Because there's a lot of folks out here doing things willy-nilly, and then they get in trouble and because they're not doing things the right way. So I highly recommend, if you are going to coach, you get certified. And ever since I have been certified and have been coaching, I've been doing this since 2015, and probably since 2016, 2017, I have consistently been asked about coaching, how I got into it, what folks recommend for certification. The money part I get asked about a lot, and folks have asked me about scholarships and things like that. The same way we got money for our business, just like when you start a business, you need investors, you need investments. A lot of it's going to come from you. You go to your friends, your family, you go to other people. But the same way, like with my coaching, I reached out to my immediate network, my family, and got support, as well as putting in my own resources as well. But that's how I was able to afford. I didn't get any scholarships or anything like that. So, and I know this can be really tough for some people. Finances may not be flowing like that, and I get it. I totally get it. At the same time, it's a business endeavor, and you have to invest. In every business endeavor I've ever gone into, I've had to invest blood, sweat, tears, and lots and lots and lots of money. There's no way around it, right? In order to make money, you have to spend money. With my college degree, it cost a lot of money, right? It cost a lot. Like, I paid some, my mom paid a lot, I got scholarships, and I had to take out loans, government and private, right? So it cost a lot. And the return on investment from that, did I get it? I would say it was a great experience. I don't regret it, but I'm not sure that I necessarily got the return on investment from that. But, some of this stuff is hard to really calculate, because life experience builds on itself and creates something new. It's like a recipe, right? You can mix nutritional yeast, water, date syrup, and you create something new. Like, what's that new thing? And it's like, did I get my ROI on this nutritional yeast? Well, I don't know. Did this new creation, did it taste good? Did it inspire something else? So you just never know. Sometimes it's really hard to tell. And I think the experience really matters in what you learn. And so when it comes to my coaching certification, I learned enough and got enough support to definitely make it worthwhile, to the point where I'm here telling you so many years later, it is worth the money. Invest in certification. Okay. Now, I got certified by the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and I have been an ambassador for that coaching program for quite some time. I've also shared and promoted the Food Revolution Network's plant-based coaching certification. It's plant-focused, and I'm like, great. They got all the things. They have all the things like I am, but they're plant-focused. This is even better. Now, with the plant protocol, what I love about the plant protocol is that it is culturally specific. And this is the part that really matters. I got a lot of support and help from IIN in terms of like how to navigate coaching, like in the real world, because you get partnered with a senior coach, someone who's been coaching 10 plus years, and you have a small cohort, right? So it's a year-long program, and there's this live portion of it where you have folks that you are on the journey with, and you get this mentorship and support. And I got support in the beginning with some really hairy situations. And this was huge and vital. The learning lessons were great and the support was great. And I love that. What IIN did not prepare me for or didn't even touch were the health disparities, like I mentioned earlier. What is really going on in the communities of color and the health disparities? They don't, at least when I went 2015, I can only speak from the experience of 2015. I know all these programs are always iterating. Even I believe Joshua Rosenthal, who was the founder and instructor for the program, I don't think he's even involved anymore. So there's been changes, right? Now they got Chopra Global and stuff involved. So there's been a lot of changes. But what is still the case is that cultural competency coaching. So with the plant protocol, of course, you learn how to coach. You learn the business acumen, but it's specifically geared towards folks who are working in the communities that I focus on, which are people of color, and closing these racial health gaps. This is like in IIN's world, from my experience, some of this stuff ends up being like, oh, this is fun. Let's do a retreat to Bali and let's drink out of glass because we don't want the toxins, and like we got to do organic because we don't want the toxins. And for me, it's like, no, we need to clear our environment of all these toxins and hold the government accountable, because this is literally life or death for our community. This is a sense of urgency. This is where my my blood pressure and anxiety goes up, because I have seen it firsthand, like how quickly folks can go and how dramatically the impact it has on the whole family with these types of things, with our food choices, with the chemicals, right? Even when you live a clean, healthy life, there's all this talk about Black women and breast cancer. We have high rates of breast cancer. We're struggling with maternity and all this kinds of stuff, right? High rates of infant and maternal deaths and things like this. And specifically talking about Black hair care products, which we've talked about for some time on this podcast. I have even with all the steps that I've taken, got a cyst on my ovary, which I found out about in LA. It formed in LA because I started to feel a pinch and had to get it checked out, and it turned out to be a cyst. And I know why, because I was lax with the hair care, trying to figure out how to manage my hair, and took the advice of a family member who is fly, and I love her. At the same time, she's not necessarily a health conscious person. And it's like, what options do we have available for our hair? You know what I'm saying? This is very specific to us. Now I know better, having gone through the journey. I have found cleaner hair care products by us, for us, by Black women, for Black women. And this stuff matters. This is why we need more people working in it. It's not enough to know about it and help yourself, but you need to be working in it, because there are people suffering and struggling, and you can help so many people and create options for people. Before, we only thought we had the Cantu and all this other stuff. And yeah, I could put these people on blast because they have trash in their products that's literally causing cysts and other endocrine disruptions and things like this. But there are cleaner products by people who know and they understand, and they feel that Black women are deserving of better, higher quality products that aren't going to damage their health, right? So it's important. It's important, and this is why the cultural competency and just having a space where you can clearly, openly talk about the issues. I literally had a coach tell me, a white woman, tell me that I was attracting people who don't have any money, and it's because of my money mindset and my money consciousness. An Asian woman has told me this also in the past, and at the time the Asian woman told me, I was like, girl, please. And that caused a rift, right? Because I didn't feel like I had any money mindset issues. And then when this white woman told me this, I also felt like, how could she say this about me when I'm running ads? So you're telling me my messaging and my ads aren't converting, or actually, and they actually performed really well, in my opinion, in terms of the numbers of folks that I got. But in the back end of getting conversions to sign up for my coaching program, I didn't get it. And to her, she was translating that as that I am the problem. My money mindset is the problem. And it had nothing to do with the fact that actually the focus of what I'm working to solve trends with poverty. And there's a lot of things that go along with that, right? So there are points to what she was saying that, yeah, it could be worked on. Maybe some messaging. Obviously, messaging is something we're always working on in business and marketing, fine-tuning your message and all this kind of stuff. But to hear her say that to me, and that was like, what, 2021? No, 2020, that was 2020. I was devastated, to tell you the least. I was exhausted, first of all, from a huge launch, and devastated to have her tell me this. And this is why it really matters who you pay to coach you. I learned in that moment. I was like, never again will I put myself through this situation. It's good to have someone push you, but to say something like this, it just was so flippant, right? You have to be when you're in a coaching container with someone, what you say, how you say it, and how you present, all of that matters, because communication is not just words. Communication is tonality, is facial expression, is body expression. And in this time in America, it matters who is saying the thing, right? If I had heard those same words from someone that looked like me, would it have landed different? It probably would have, because I would be asking more strategic questions, because there has to be something else there, right? It can't just be a money mindset issue traveling through the internet ads, attracting these, because there's more social stuff and things going on in the environment that plays into what people buy, why they buy, how much they spend, how much they're willing to spend. Every market, every business, every product, every service has to go through this thing to find out what works for their customer market, right? And so anyway, I was devastated. And this is why, to me, I'm really just so passionate that with what Lisa has created. She's created a safe space for folks, for people of color who are looking to really attack this health gap, to be able to get support from other folks on the journey to do this work, because we all need support. Therapists have therapists, okay? Social workers, they go through their psychologists, they have their thing where they have to work with psychologists, right? Doctors have doctors. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to treat yourself. Like, we all need support. We all need support. And so it's really important to get in those communities. And so just from my personal experience, I'm just so happy to be a partner. But just to make sure that I tackle this question of how I started, get certified, get in the right room with the right people, and that is the plant protocol, okay? Lisa is it. If you want the motivation, you want the inspiration, and you want somebody to keep it real and not have you lag with complacency, right? Because there are folks out here, I've invested lots of money in lots of coaches where you can just disappear into the background, right? They'll take your money, you disappear into the background, and you listen and you wait, you listen and you wait, and you look up and years have gone by and your business has not done anything. Like, you haven't done anything with it. And that's not what you want when you make an investment. You want to get your return on investment, right? So I highly recommend that you sign up. And I'm actually offering mentorship because I'm super passionate about this. I'm offering mentorship to folks who enroll in the plant protocol and mention my name. I'm offering 2 months of mentorship. And I know that folks who are interested have already know my receipts and know why you would want mentorship from me. But just to name a few of things that I'm super proud of to have accomplished up to now is owning a brick and mortar organic eatery, where we had 2 locations at one point, one on the north side of Chicago in Ravenswood, and on Lower Wacker in downtown Chicago, having up to 14 team members. Also doing food policy work and community development. I actually passed food policy as the co-chair for the Good Food Economy Working Group. We passed that in 2020. And I was part of the genesis of this food policy from the beginning. And still we're actively working on getting it implemented, but it's with the city now and it's moving forward. And working with 10 million Black vegan women as project manager, community manager for 2 years with the live 21-day programs and the on-demand, setting up the on-demand program in the community. Also running 2 summits. So the Raw Food Health Empowerment Summit, I was the host and creator of the Raw Food Health Empowerment Summit and the Thrive Through Food Summit. I've also been featured on some amazing podcasts like the Exam Room Live, run by the Physicians Committee. What else? I've had some amazing experiences in my coaching journey, and it's been an emotional one. I can't lie. It's a lot of fun. Even the work I'm doing now, right now I'm working on a 21-day New Year meal prep program, which is why a lot of the upcoming podcasts is just going to be me like just talking to you about my personal experience, because I'm so focused on creating this program. I've created some recipes. I'm working on some nutrition guides. And so it's a lot of fun. And at the same time, when I read articles like this about what's going on in our community, it breaks my heart. This doctor in this article, Dr. Antonio Gonzalez, he cites the emotional stress eating and lack of income to afford healthy foods as reasons for unhealthy lifestyles. He says these habits are leading to health risks at earlier ages of 20 to 44 years old. I'm 37. That's my demographic. You know what I'm saying? It is not easy to live healthy and eat clean in this day and age in America. It's not easy, but it is feasible. I'm doing it and I have been able to do it. Being busy, running businesses, having a business and having a side business, or having a job and having a side business, all the things people could throw at me, with the exception of having kids. I've never had kids, right? But when it comes to being busy and being healthy, I've been able to do it. You do the best you can. You just keep putting your foot forward and just keep moving forward. Consistency is the name of the game. Consistency. And so it just breaks my heart. This article even talks about how studies show increases in early heart attacks, strokes, and other complications among young African Americans and Hispanics. Sedentary lifestyles and poor dietary choices are to blame. And I understand. I've been there, right? But we need to motivate and encourage our people to do better, to do more. And how we do that is by being it ourselves, fixing ourselves, getting ourselves well, right? So that may mean you getting a coach, right? If you're not good at holding yourself accountable or pushing yourself or doing the research, you've tried many times to go plant-based and you failed every time and just given up, which in the coaching world, we call that having a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. If you need someone to pour into you, you may want to sign up for coaching. And if you're looking for coaching, I have a 6-month coaching program that you can jump into. And why 6 months? 6 months is because people love the quick fixes. They love the 21 days. They love a 3-month or whatever, which is fine. I have the 21-day meal prep challenge coming up, but change happens over time, right? And you want to have support on that journey when the real struggle bus comes, right? Because we start a thing and we're all excited about that thing. Ooh, and everything's going great in the beginning, but struggle comes in. And it's good to have someone when you're at that really low point to really now confront it. That's what I do with my clients in the coaching container, is we get to that low point where you've hit on many times in the past that have made you revert back to unhealthy habits, and we tackle it head on. What is going on? What is going on? How has this been serving you? What is it teaching you right now? When you go through this experience, what is it teaching you? These are called motivational interviewing, coaching questions. I call them reflective questions. So we go in and we dig in, right? this is not therapy, but we do use some tools in coaching to have some self-awareness, because you need the self-awareness to make change, right? So anyway, I hope this episode has been helpful. If you like it and you're watching it on YouTube, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and check the notification bell for the next time I post. And honestly, I love sharing this and I'm so excited that there are other folks on the journey looking to step in, because this is part of my mission too. Like, I cannot eradicate type 2 diabetes by myself, but what God has shown me is he's calling many people to this work. When I was interviewed on the Exam Room Live, all these folks reached out to me, Black women in particular, doctors, right? People who've been coaching, who've been raw food coaching, people, and they telling me their stories and stuff. And I'm like, look at God, look at God. When you step into your greatness, you attract other people who are doing great things as well. And y'all can be great together to move the mission forward, to move God's work forward. And I'm just so excited to be in community with such amazing people and to bring more people on board. So if you were motivated by this and you have been changed by plant food eating, by vegan eating, right? And you are looking to coach and step in and start helping folks to get healthier, to help our communities get healthier, then click on my link for the plant protocol. And when you enroll, mention my name, and I cannot wait to mentor you on your journey and help you fast track to getting in there and getting stuff done, okay? Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.